guys, Katy Huller here with Kids Can Read and Write. Today I want to help you read some of those big words with the G-E-G-I-G-Y trick. Now if you haven't had any experiences with the G-E-G-I-G-Y trick, let me tell you about it. So when G has an E, I, or a Y come after it, not before it, but after it, he takes his little jump rope and he says, hey, do you want to jump rope with me? Well, the E, I, or the Y says, yes, we would love to, but we have to finish doing our chores first. So the E, I, or Y has to keep saying whatever it was already saying in the word. That means if it was a short vowel in the word, it's going to keep being a short vowel. If it was part of another trick like ER or IR or two vowels, it's going to make the sound it was making initially. So the only thing that really changes is the sound of the G. Everything else is read the way it is in the word. So unlike most tricks where they make just one sound together, one sound together, one sound together, we don't know if this will say j. We don't know if there's an R next to it, if it would say jr, right? Until we see what that E, that I, or that Y was actually doing in the word before the G asked it, would you like to jump rope with me? So remember, if you're helping your child learn to read, or if you're learning to read yourself, you want to keep a lookout for that G followed by the E, the I, or the Y. So here we have the G, I. Which one do you see in this one? G, E. Which one is in this one? G, Y. And what about in this one? G, I, okay? So it can be anywhere in the word. It could be at the beginning, it could be in the middle, it could be at the end. You just have to keep looking, but you only want to say j for a G if it's followed by that E, I, or Y. Don't say j unless you see an E, I, or Y after it. Now the other thing I want you to remember is English is a code, right? Writing is a code. It's a code that tells us exactly what we need to say. Now, are there exceptions? Yes, absolutely. But 85% of the words follow the code. So you do have to learn how to adjust certain words. That's English. But most words you can figure out or at least get close enough if you know the code and you follow it. So let's practice using the G-E-G-I-G-Y trick today. Remember, when you see a G followed by an E, I, or a Y, make sure you say j. Do you want to jump rope with me? And the E, I, or Y says yes, but first we have to finish our chores. All right, so let's see. If we're reading this word, we have to start on the left and move to the right. We also have to be watching for any other tricks that might be in the word. So when we are breaking up a big word like this, because remember, for many kids, this is just too much to hear at once. If they just sound it out, la, ah, j, I, k, and this is the trick, all, they might not know what they just said. Some might, but others will come out with call or magical. I mean, you just never know what they're going to come out with. So make sure you're reading one chunk at a time. So I like to drag the vowel into the next sound and then break it. Drag the vowel into the next sound, break it until I get to the end of the word. This is what I would recommend that you do with your kids to make it easier. So here we go. We're going to go la, aj, lodge. Then we're going to do this part, ick. And then we're going to do this part, all. And then we're gonna go back to the beginning and put it all together. Ready? Logical. So what would that be? Logical. Logical. Something that makes sense. It follows logic. It is logical. Now to read that, your child would need to know that G-I trick as well as that A-L. All the L's want to go with the A, but sometimes just one can. All right, let's try another. This one's even longer, so we're going to break it up again and make it easy. We're going to drag that vowel into that next sound. That's where we can break it. Drag the next vowel into that next sound. That's where we can break it. Drag that next vowel into that next sound. That's where we can break it. Now, will the dictionary show you a different place to break it? Probably, right? Because really the syllables change in a different place. But will this help a struggling reader know how to quickly divide it up, sound it out, and put it together? Yes, and that's my goal. I'm not worried about proper breaking it as far as the dictionary is concerned. I'm worried about showing you a way that's easy to remember and do when you're on your own and can't remember 8 rules of segmenting words, okay? So this is for people who want the quick and dirty way to do it. It's easy, it works most of the time. Occasionally you'll have to shift a little bit, but please don't write me about where this word is really broken up. I know how to say it and I know where it's really broken up, but I want to teach you how to show your child who's having a hard enough time just remembering how to break anything and just needs one way to do it to get most of the words correct. So let's practice this one. Here we go. We're going to drag this into this. In. Now we're going to do this part. T-L. Tell. So now we can put part 1 and 2 together. In. Tell, and we go on to this third part. Now remember, this isn't la-ig because that G's touching an E, I, or Y. In this case, an E. So we have to say la-ig. And normally we wouldn't break a trick up, but with the C-E-C-I-C-Y trick and the G-E-G-I-G-Y trick, you can. Because remember that E, I, or Y is doing its own thing in both of these tricks. And if you haven't watched the C-E-C-I-C-Y trick yet, there's a video on that you can catch. But let's get back to this word. We have la-ig, lidge, and then we have ant. Notice how I slide that one into there. Ant. I don't want to say en-ta because that's not going to sound right. I have to shorten this because it's an ending blend. Ent. I just close it up. Ent. Okay? So now, that's probably confusing. You probably couldn't hear the word if you're a beginning reader. So let's go back and put our 1 and our 2 together. In. T-L, tell. And don't worry if your child has to re-sound out parts. That's normal when they're learning. But this becomes in, tell. Now I'm going to put parts 3 and 4 together. This is for kids who are having trouble sticking all of this together the first time. L-ig, lidge, ent, ligent, right? Now, if I know intel and ligent, I'm going to try to put all of it together. Intelligent. Intelligent. And I'm just going to go a little bit faster each time. Intelligent. 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 until I can hear it. Intelligent. You are very intelligent for watching this video and learning how to help your kids read better, or yourself. So this is the word intelligent. Notice how all we had to do was start here and get to the end and remember what we said. And the remembering is a part that's hard for a lot of dyslexic kids because they have working memory issues, short-term memory issues, and so they can't remember it when they get to the end. And that's why I say join 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then all of it, okay? That's how you deal with those 4 or more syllable words. So whether you are able to hear it or not, there's always a way to get it. If you are really good at remembering all the parts, you can just go intelligent. But if you have trouble, do the 2 and 2. All right, let's try this one. Where would we break this word? Do you know? Well, drag your first vowel into that next sound. Glue it on and break it. This is a trick that goes together. E and the R say And here's our G-Y trick. Now, this is kind of a double trick because we're going to say J for the G because it's touching that E, I, or Y. And what does a Y say after all of these letters? Do you know? He says, yee. How many people are coming? No, thanks. So we have to say E when we get to this Y. So here we go. N-er-G. Energy. Now, if it's pretty short, your child will probably remember all the chunks, N-er-G. But if they have trouble and something crazy comes out, try putting 1 and 2 together, N-er, N-er, and then adding 3, G, N-er-G, N-er-G, like that, until they can hear it. Energy. You'll see the light come on. Energy, like I have lots of energy today. All right, so let your child sound it out several times if needed. Don't expect them to just hear it the first time until they get used to a good blending technique and have practiced a lot. All right, let's try one more. See if you know where to break this word up. Remember, you're looking for the vowels. There's one. There's one. There's a trick vowel, and there's another. So now, after you find those, you can draw your lines if you need to. I like to encourage my kids to read them with outlines drawn, but in the beginning, I'll do this for them so they can just get used to seeing parts, okay? So if you need to help your child find those parts, remember to tell them what you're doing and how you're knowing where to draw that line. If you need it broken up so that you don't see so much at once, you can do that too. All right, so here's our GI trick. Remember, do you want to jump rope with me? The I still says whatever it was saying. In this case, it would just be the regular is because nobody's bossing it, right? It's not part of another trick. So here we go. Edge, reg, is, ter. And what does ed say after all these letters for a word you can do? Duh. Yes, so remember, ed says duh. It shows past tense. It shows we already did something. If it doesn't come after a T or a D, it's just going to say duh. If it comes after a T or a D, that's when you would say ed. So make sure when you see that ed at the end of a word, you're not saying ed unless this is a T or a D. That's almost always true, okay? If it's not a T or D, just say duh. You don't have to worry about saying tuh. A lot of people teach that. Just say duh. Tuh is what comes out when we don't make a full duh. But really the sound is still duh. And if it slurs when you say it quickly, well, that's fine. But let's practice saying duh, not tuh or duh when we see it. So here we go. Edge, reg, is, tur, duh. All right, now, if you need to break it up a little so you can hear it, maybe your child is not able to put this together, well, you can take the ed off and read the root word first. Reg, is, tur. Go a little faster. Reg, is, tur. If your child can't hear it, remember you can do 1 and 2. Reg, is, regis, and then add 3. Tur. Register. Right? Register. Register. Until they can hear it. Then, once they get this part, register, you can add that d ending. Registered. Registered. Now, registered. Have you registered for the Black Belt Reading Program? If you want your child to know all these tricks and be able to read big words by the end of it, well, sign up for the Black Belt Reading Program. I go trick by trick in a very systematic, explicit way, give you all the papers you need to help teach your child so that they can learn all these tricks to reading and spelling words. So if you need that, go to www.kidscanreadandwrite.com or kidscanonlineacademy.com. You can find the Black Belt Reading Program in either place. And if you have a very advanced reader, someone who can read quite a bit but is still struggling because maybe they memorized a bunch of words, or maybe they're just older and they don't really know how to read, but they've accumulated, just enough to kind of sound like a reader, you might need more advanced packets than are in that program. Well, contact me and I will help you get in the right place. So let me know if you need help. Let me know what else you would like to learn. And thanks so much for joining me and staying until the end. I appreciate you, and I hope this serves you, and I hope you'll let me know if you have any questions or topics that you would like covered. So, hope to see you again soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye, guys.